Welcome to Love Brand You on Win-Win Women. I'm Sam Rafis, your host for this metaphysical show focused on faith and inspiration for you to succeed in all areas of your life. For those of you that have tuned into the show before, you know that I always start Love Brand You with our Love Brand You prayer, which I will do now. So if you would like to take a deep breath. I'd like to take a deep breath, just feel grounded, take it all in. And I read the same prayer each week. It's the Love Brand You prayer. My God source loves me no matter what. I am always lovable and give myself compassion for everything I've ever done or not done. Love heals me more quickly than self-judgment. I choose love now for me and for everyone in my life. For this I give thanks. I let it be so, and so it is. Amen. Okay, thank you for joining me. We are in a new month. And if you tuned in last week, I had two guests on my show and we were talking about collaboration and cultivating relationships globally and collaborating. I had Dr. Annika Sorensen and Anna Nordegren. They came all the way from Sweden to tune in with me last week, and we were talking about our collaboration here on Win-Win Women and how relationships, collaborating with other women is what we like to do. For today's episode, I want to share the relationship with ourselves. So I've named today's episode, Follow Your Heart to Your True Self. And focusing on your true self, I often call it the divine self, the God self. And you've heard me talk about it before, that's my theme for Love Brand You, transform from the inside out. And what I have known is that's when the magic started happening for me, you could say, whether it would be in my business or my life, is when I really started to tune in, quote, tune into who I was and what I really wanted for my life. And this only happens when we take time to get to know ourselves through that going within. And this is why I really love metaphysics and why I'm so passionate about bringing metaphysics to what I call mainstream. And the goal of all metaphysical science, the study of metaphysics, is to be a truly complete person, one who is inwardly aware and outwardly successful. And it is easier said than done. I'm the first one to admit that. However, I can say that let's say at least 20 years, I have been into this self-discovery, self-growth, self-fulfilling, making myself a better person. And once you start diving in, I don't know about you, but those of us that love the self-help movement and self-growth, once you get into it, it's a little bit addictive, or I find it addictive anyway. And I just keep checking with my notes here because I'm doing a different setup today, and talk about needing a bit of meditation yesterday when I had some troubles with my computer and it wasn't cooperating. So today I'm actually using my phone, and I'm trying something different here just to make sure that I could get today's episode done. And I don't have my usual setup where I can see my notes easily and be talking to you. So you're gonna have to bear with me as I hold up my notes beside me to remember what I'm gonna say. So to accomplish inward awareness and outward success, it's a genuine contact with our inner true selfhood, like I said. And the other thing that's messing with me here, in all honesty, is I'm trying to, I know the camera, where the camera is on my laptop. And here on my phone, I feel like I'm looking different places. So if I feel like I'm not always looking at you, or I'm searching for where the camera is, just, you know why. So I'm practicing today to get looking at the camera in the proper angle. So thank you for bearing with me. Okay, back to our inner true selfhood. In metaphysical science, this is accomplished by mastering the art of deep meditation. And I can honestly say that over the years, I have meditated a lot. I can say that over the years, oh, I bet you I started meditating probably 15, 20 years ago. And honestly, I did it sporadically. It was like I would meditate for 6 months. Most days I would, get in the rhythm of it, and then something would happen and I would stop for a while and I'd let it go. And I didn't really make it part of my daily routine like I do with, eating well and exercising and yoga and all of those types of healthy activities that we know help make us a healthier, better person all the way around. When I really deep dived into metaphysics and returned to school to study metaphysics, and it came through our study saying, okay, that the basis of what we teach is mastering the art of meditation. So I literally thought, okay, I need to understand this. So I dedicated every single day. And I would like to say since 2015, there hasn't been too many days that I have not meditated. And it's like anything else in your life. When you develop a new fitness regime, when you develop a new way of eating, when you develop a new passion, a new hobby, whatever it is, when you really sink into it and you practice it daily, you get better at it. So I am a big fan of meditation, and I can honestly say that it has made a big difference in my life. And the way that I do it, and everyone is different. And I always just say to people, whatever way works for you, meditate. Just if you prefer guided meditations, if you like to tune into some of the apps that guide you through a meditation, then the most important part is you're actually doing it. And that's what helps you get better at meditation and tuning within to that truer God self, as we say. And you've heard me on the show before. I've talked about God self, divine self. I refer to my heart self, my intuition. I've even named it, sometimes I call her Grace when I hear a voice of that I know is my divine self. So I have tuned in to my inner self through meditation and prayer. And what happens is, once you get used to meditating every day and learning to distinguish between that God self and your conscious self. So your conscious self is what you're thinking and doing during the day, and you're conscious of what your thoughts are and what you're saying, doing, believing. When your subconscious divine self, when you're tuning into that during the day, that's that intuitive voice, that heart self. It's not necessarily, you might not feel like it's the brain. We talk about the brain being conscious and the subconscious being your heart. And I've said on shows before that when we're trying to make a decision, it's, what does your heart say? And oftentimes, especially in North American culture or Western culture, we are taught to go with what our brain says. We're taught, okay, let's look at what the logic says when it comes to making a decision. However, once you get really in tune with meditating and really quieting your mind, and being able to listen to your own self and tune into your intuition, tune into your divine self, then that subconscious intuitive mind can break. Well, it's not, I'm saying breakthrough, but for me, it's just, I know now after all these years of distinguishing between my heart self and my brain self, I know the difference. I can hear my God mind speaking to me. So if you have tried meditation and you know this is true for you, then I encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. If you haven't tried meditation too much, and I know that I work with individuals that tell me, oh, I don't think I can meditate. I can't quiet my mind. I've tried it before. It doesn't work. It's like anything else. When you have to develop a new fitness program, or you have to develop a new way of eating, or you develop any new habit, this is what I like to help my clients do with meditation, because I know the power of how it can really um, help you meet goals, help you be successful. And starting out with meditation can be just as simple as learning how to quiet your mind. And it's a progressive. It's you. I have some of my clients start with 5 minutes a day, and you basically, in the morning is best. However, if you have a busy morning and you don't think you can do it, then usually what I will suggest is pick a time. Pick a time when you know you can do it. Whether it's in the morning, I prefer in the morning when I get up. I get up early. I have my morning routine. I do some yoga, and I do meditation before anything else, before morning coffee, before breakfast, anything. I take that 20 minutes to quiet my mind and really go within. And for myself, I put my headphones in and I actually listen to pink noise. That's it. And I try to not have thoughts. So I might focus on a word like love or breathe or something, anything that I can focus on, and on that noise. And whenever my thoughts wander, then I bring it back to that noise. And usually what happens is, over time, I'm pretty good at bringing it back to what the focus I want to be on, the noise, or whether it's a word, depending on how I'm feeling that day. Or the other thing I may do is I may focus on my breath. I may breathe deeper. I might just say to myself, okay, breathe, and focus on that. Because when you are focused on one word, one sound, one anything, whatever it is, whatever you want to focus on, that will help you quiet your mind. And even if you were to do that, I started out at 5 minutes. I used to not be able to quiet my mind. And now I always say I've graduated, and I do 20 to 25 minutes every morning. And usually I don't need much more than that. And sometimes I just pick a fun number and I put, okay, 22 minutes on my timer, whatever works for you. However, if you are just starting out, I just suggest try 5 minutes and try that, even, for a few consecutive days, and see how you are. If that doesn't work for you, if you don't like just trying to focus on a word or a sound or something like I've suggested, then there are so many fantastic guided meditations. There are meditation apps. You can go on YouTube and you can search out fantastic meditations. And I have listened to some of them too. However, for my meditation practice in the morning, I just find this way of doing it is what works for me. But the most important thing is to do what works for you. The other thing that helps with finding out who your true divine self is, and you probably won't be surprised, but reading inspirational books. So reading the masters before us that have talked about meditation or talked about self-growth, personal growth. And in many of my episodes before, I've talked about many of the books I love and metaphysical masters or inspirational leaders or philosophers. So Florence Scovel Shinn, Dr. Joseph Murphy, James Allen, who I've got a little bit for you today. I've got some passages from one of James Allen's books I want to share with you because they're so powerful. Who else might I reference today? Oh, okay. I've referenced many times Abraham Hicks, their books and their teaching. The other one that I came across this week, another favorite of mine that I hadn't seen him for a while, Dr. Bruce Lipton, The Biology of Belief. And he talks about using the power of meditation and getting quiet to reprogram your subconscious mind. So there are many, many masters of inspiration and meditation that you can tune into to go within and discover your true divine self. So let's get to James Allen. All right. Okay. So James Allen, he wrote, let's see, where's the camera? As a Man Thinketh is one of his most famous books. And then in this volume, I have As a Man Thinketh, it's in there, and also From Poverty to Power. There's two of his books in this one. And what I want to read first is, oh, yeah, The Power of Meditation. So for this, as usual, I need glasses. And what have we got here? Okay, so what James says, meditation in the spiritual sense in which I am now using it is the secret of all growth in spiritual life and knowledge. Every prophet, sage, and savior became such by the power of meditation. Buddha meditated upon the truth until he could say, I am the truth. Jesus brooded upon the divine immanence until at last he could declare, I and the Father are one. He goes on further to say in a couple other pages here, next page. At the outset, meditation must be distinguished from idle reverie. There is nothing dreamy and unpractical about it. It is a process of searching and uncompromising thought that allows nothing to remain but the simple and naked truth. Meditating in this way, you will no longer strive to build yourself up in your prejudices, but forgetting self, you will remember only that you are seeking the truth. And so you will remove one by one the errors that you have built around yourself in the past, and I will patiently wait for the revelation of truth that will come when your errors have been sufficiently removed. In the silent humility of your heart, you will realize that there is an inmost center in us all. And that's what I noticed from when I really got into meditation, you could say. When you start getting into it deeper and really focusing and building on it daily. Again, I alluded to at the beginning, like a fitness regime. When you're trying to get healthy and you're trying to build more muscle, more flexibility, more stamina, more energy, it takes you a while to build up to that. And that's the same as meditation. It takes you a while to actually learn and develop those muscles to quiet your mind and then to sink deeper in it daily. And I know through my meditation practice that where I was 5 years ago, 2 years ago, is much different than where I'm at now, because I have built on those meditation muscles, so to speak. And I know I can go deeper and I can hear more of that divine self, and especially during the day. And that's what I like, because in the busy hustle and bustle of what many of us go through for our work, for our life, when we're trying to, work, have our family, have the quote work-life balance, sometimes it's easier said than done, and it's easy to get a little bit overwhelmed or stressed out, or any of those somewhat negative attributes that we don't want, or the problems or obstacles that we have. And alluding to what happened yesterday when my computer was deciding to not work the way it normally did, I can honestly say that at first I felt a little bit of a panic, because I honestly went, oh my goodness, I have to do my show tomorrow, and I go live using my computer. So at first, my thought was to go down the road of worry and stress and saying, what am I going to do? When I was able to take a breath, I could hear that inward voice say, just take a breath, relax. It's all going to be okay, because that's the truth of it. And I know James Allen talks about seeking the truth. And in meditation, we often say, love, or in metaphysics, we often say only love is real. There's no fear. Even though we have fear, you can't focus on love and fear at the same time. And to get a little bit metaphysical, only love is real. Fear is not real. Fear is an illusion. Fear is not reality. It's our ego that tries to get us to be afraid. Yet when we go within our deeper divine self, that's only love or truth. So anyway, that's let's see what else James has to say. So okay, he talks about the best time is in the very early morning, when the spirit of repose is upon everything. So talking about meditating in the morning. To be spiritually awakened is also to be mentally and physically awakened. Those whose awakening consciousness have become alive to its lofty possibilities. Spiritual meditation and self-discipline are inseparable. You will therefore commence to meditate upon yourself so as to try and understand yourself. For remember, the great object you will have in view will be the complete removal of all your errors in order that you may realize truth. So that's what James has to say. And I have so many more passages marked here as I normally do. You can see that highlighter. Anyway, in the instance of time, because of our time here, we've got a few more minutes left. Let's see. The end of meditation is therefore direct knowledge of truth, God, and the realization of divine and profound peace. And the other part that I wanted to read for you from James is one of his chapters that I actually listen to every day. It's part of my morning routine, and it's a passage that Bob Proctor has on YouTube, and I listen to it every day. And all I know is, some people have said to me, over the years, you've become more calm, you've become more peaceful, you've become more serene. And for me, I try to do that, because it does make me feel better when I'm more calm, peaceful, and serene, and I can tune into my higher self, and my life is just so much better with the focus of meditation and living a metaphysical lifestyle for the most part. I find that things just don't get to me as much as they used to once I've adopted meditation, especially, into my life. So we've got a few minutes here, and I just want to read Serenity for you. And if you like, you can put yourself in a meditative state. You can close your eyes. You can um, just listen, because I find that to be the most powerful. Lots of times when I'm listening to it, I'll just close my eyes and actually feel my breath and feel relaxed. So if you want to do that, let's. I invite you to do that. All right. Serenity. Calmness of mind is one of the beautiful jewels of wisdom. It is the result of long and patient effort in self-control. Its presence is an indication of ripened experience and of a more than ordinary knowledge of the laws and operations of thought. We become calm in the measure that we understand ourselves as thought-evolved beings, for such knowledge necessitates the understanding of others as the result of thought. And as we develop a right understanding and see more and more clearly the internal relations of things by the actions of cause and effect, we cease to fuss and fume and worry and grieve, and remain poised, steadfast, serene. Calm people, having learned how to govern themselves, know how to adapt themselves to others. And they, in turn, reverence their spiritual strength and feel that they can learn from them and rely upon them. The more tranquil we become, the greater is our success, our influence, and our power for good. Even ordinary merchants will find business prosperity increase as they develop a greater self-control and equanimity, for people will always prefer to deal with people whose demeanor is strongly equable. Strong, calm people are always loved and revered. They are like a shade-giving tree in a thirsty land, or a sheltering rock in a storm. Who does not love a tranquil heart, a sweet-tempered, balanced life? It does not matter whether it rains or shines, or what changes come to those possessing those blessings, for they are always sweet, serene, and calm. The exquisite poise of character, which we will call serenity, in the last lesson of culture, is the last lesson of culture. It is the flower of life, the fruit of the soul. It is precious as wisdom. It is more to be desired than gold, more even than fine gold. How insignificant mere money seeking looks in comparison with a serene life, a life that dwells in the ocean of truth. Beneath the waves, beyond the reach of tempests, in the eternal calm. How many people we know who sour their lives, who ruin all that is sweet and beautiful by explosive tempers, who destroy their poise of character and make bad blood. It is a question whether the great majorities of people do not ruin their lives and mar their happiness by lack of self-control. How few people we meet in life who are well balanced, who have the exquisite poise, which is characteristic of the finished character. Yes, humanity surges with emotion, with uncontrolled passion, is tumultuous with ungoverned grief, is blown about by anxiety and doubt. Only those whose thoughts are controlled and purified make the winds and the storms of the soul obey them. Tempest-tossed souls, wherever you may be, under whatsoever conditions you may live, know this. In the ocean of life, the isles of blessedness are smiling, and the sunny shore of your ideal awaits your coming. Keep your hand firmly upon the helm of thought. In the bark of your soul reclines the commanding master. He does but sleep. Wake him. Self-control is strength. Right thought is mastery. Calmness is power. Say unto your heart, peace, be still. When I write my book, I hope I have a touch of James Allen in me, because I love his writing and I love hearing that. I love reading that. I probably read that chapter hundreds of times, and it's one of my most favorite passages. So I hope that you've enjoyed it. And to end out the show, I'm going to end with James. And I just want to remind you, if you want to find out more, if you want to contact me, if you want to send me a message and find out more about any of my work, I love to talk to anybody about meditation, about metaphysics, how I can help you. I work with coaches, mostly helping them, beginning coaches and coaches that are, I would say, struggling in their business to find out what it is that really makes them passionate about what they want to do with their work, whether it's a health and wellness business or a life coach or a health coach. Reach out to me, because that is what I love to do, is to help young entrepreneurs grow and build their business, or help people with their health as well. Those are the two of my favorite loves. So if you go to Love Brand You, you can find out more about that, lovebrandyou.com. Okay, let's end with James Allen. And I normally end with a affirmation, but I thought I would end with one of his, well, it's like a prayer. It's like a prayer that he tells his readers. And it goes like, what he wants you to believe about yourself, because it's act as if. So, I will live my ideal now. I will manifest my ideal now. I will be my ideal now. And all that tempts me away from my ideal, I will not listen to. I will listen only to the voice of my ideal. And I invite you to do that. And part of that, you can listen to the voice of your ideal when you can find your inner divine self through the gift of meditation. So if you meditate and you get into it, I invite you to do that, and you can locate that divine self. So until next week, I'll say good night and see you next week. Thanks for joining me.